This episode of After the Quiet contains personal experiences and discussions of infidelity, deception, and emotional abuse, including themes related to coercive control. Listener discretion is advised, as some content may be triggering or emotionally difficult for some individuals. Hi, and welcome back to After the Quiet. This is episode 52. I became obsessed with finding out who she was. Not just casually curious, not a passing thought, obsessed. Because when something doesn't make sense, but your gut is screaming at you, you start looking for proof. You start trying to connect dots that someone else is desperately hoping you'll never see. And honestly, my search wasn't that hard. I went to his Facebook page. By that point, I wasn't even his friend anymore. That alone should have told me something. But even without being connected, I could still see his profile pictures. So I started there, scrolling. One photo, then another. None of them included me. None of them included the kids. That hurt more than I expected. But then I started paying attention to something else. The likes and the comments. Names, patterns, repetition. And very quickly, one name stood out. It was a woman with the same first name as his cousin. At first, I almost dismissed it, but something about it made me pause. She had started liking his pictures back in February. My heart sank. Because February was when things started to feel off. That quiet shift I couldn't quite explain at the time. The distance, the tension, the subtle changes I just kept trying to rationalize. That's when I knew. I clicked on her profile, and it was completely open. No barriers, no privacy settings. Just access to a life I didn't even know existed. I started scrolling through her photos, and then I saw it. A truck in the background. Not just any truck. His truck. The photo was from May. Those 3-hour gym sessions, they weren't workouts. They were visits. Visits to her. And then it got worse. She had her location listed on her profile. I recognized it immediately. It was near that LCBO, the same one he stopped at the night he told me he was going to his parents' condo to reflect on our marriage. That night wasn't about reflection. It was about her. But the worst part wasn't even finding her. It wasn't seeing her photos. It wasn't confirming what I already feared. It was this. We had a mutual friend. She was close with one of my coworkers. I felt sick. Everything suddenly felt too close, too intertwined, too real. So I called my coworker. I was shaking, trying to explain something I barely even understood myself yet. She couldn't believe it. She kept saying, "There's no way. She's a good person. She would never get involved with a married man." And I believed her, which meant something wasn't adding up. So my coworker did something I didn't have the strength to do. She called her, and then she called me right back. I'll never forget that moment. because everything changed with what she said next. He had told her that we had been separated since February. He told her that we were still living in the same house, but only because we were waiting for it to sell. He built an entire story, a version of reality where I didn't exist the way I actually did. She didn't know. She wasn't knowingly dating a married man. She was lied to, just like I was. And in that moment, I wasn't just heartbroken. I was shattered. Because it wasn't just about the cheating. It was about the layers of deception, the double life, the calculated lies, the realization that the life I thought I was living wasn't real. It was a version of the truth that he had carefully constructed for both of us. And the scariest part? I didn't see it. Not fully, not clearly, not until I went looking. That's the thing about living in silence for so long. You start to question yourself instead of the reality in front of you. But this was undeniable. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. If this episode resonates with you, if you've ever had that gut feeling that something isn't right, trust it. Because sometimes the truth is hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to be ready to see it. This is After the Quiet. Please remember to subscribe to this podcast and share it with others who might need to hear my story. And also join me on Instagram at after.the.quiet. If you recognize parts of my story in your own, please reach out to someone who can give you support, or look for that support in your community. You are not weak for needing help. You are human. Your voice deserves to be heard.